If you're receiving this video as a part of your feedback, it means that one of the things that we want to look at are your variables and constants. So right now, a lot of people actually forget to put in the variables and constants in a lab, and this is a very important thing that you're going to need to do as you move into science at the junior high level and into high school. They're always going to ask for this. So forgetting it just isn't acceptable, and some people you're writing it just very basically. So you can see a basic what it would look like if it was an acceptable level. They've listed variables and constants. They say hot water, cold water, beaker, hot plate temperature. Doesn't say which one's which, hard to understand, and doesn't show me that the student really understands what they are. So let's quickly go over and review what they actually mean. All three of these things, by the way, are variables. Okay, so we have constant variables, and whenever you're doing an experiment, you're usually doing 2 or more tests. In this case, a constant would be those things that when you do your 2 tests side by side, they would be the things that stay the same. So on the Plateau problem, you were in one beaker you had cold ice or snow, and in the other beaker you had water that you were bringing up to boiling, and you were taking temperature on both. So what was the same between the 2 experiments? The things that were the same were you were using the same size beaker, you're both using a hot plate, you're using the same thermometer, you're using the same amount of time, and so forth. Those are all constant, they don't change. The manipulated variable is that one thing that changes between the 2 tests. So what was different in the Plateau problem between your 2 tests? In one test you were using ice or snow, and in the other test you were using warm water. Okay, that's it. That's the only thing that was different. So that is the manipulated variable. And usually there's not usually more than one manipulated variable. Sometimes 2, but not too often. Finally, the responding variable is what happens to the manipulated variable. So in the manipulated variable, in the warm water, what happens when we continue to apply heat? The response of it is it gives off steam or it boils. Okay, so that would be our responding variable. In the future, when you want to get when you're trying to go for mastery, what you should try to do is make a chart. Okay, so you can make these in Google Drive or any other word processing program, and then just bullet list. So what were our constant variables here? The temperature, or we'll say the hot plate first of all. Temperature used to heat. Thermometers. Same type of beaker. Same size beaker, right? So those things, those are just some examples of what we would have. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so same size of beaker and so forth. What was the manipulated variable? Well, that was the temperature of the water. It was either ice or hot water. Okay. And then what's the responding variable? Well, what we had happen was evaporation. Okay, and that's what happens. So that's how you do variables. That's mastery level. Put them in a chart, bullet them. Remember, manipulated variables usually don't have more than one. And that's how you do variables.